Welcome to Wise Mind. Of all the Stoic virtues, the only one that cannot be faked is courage. You can pretend to be wise, you can pretend to be fair, you can even pretend to be temperate. But sooner or later in life, you will have to face your problems, and to face your problems you need courage. Courage is not synonymous with madness. Taking excessive risks is madness, not courage. Nor is it never feeling fear, anger, or sadness. Courage is the virtue that allows you to do the right thing, despite the circumstances. A brave person can be afraid, it is natural. But despite the fear, he does what he believes is right and necessary in each situation. There is no point in running away from problems. The only thing we achieve is that our problems become bigger. A Stoic acts despite obstacles, overcomes them by making them his own path. We have the example of Hercules. As adulthood approached, Hercules didn't know what to do with his life. One day he fell asleep and started dreaming. Two paths opened before him, and from each path a woman emerged. On the one hand virtue and on the other hand pleasure. Pleasure said to Hercules, "I will take you along the sweetest and easiest path, and you will not be left without trying any of the pleasures. You will live without knowing the difficulties and sorrows, you will enjoy great pleasures achieving them with the least possible work." Pleasure promised Hercules an easy life, with shortcuts and no challenges, a life with as little work as possible. After the proposal of pleasure, virtue said to him, "I'm going to explain to you how things really are. The gods grant nothing to men without effort. If you want to achieve something, you must work hard to achieve it. If you want all of Greece to admire you for your courage, you must try to do some good for all of Greece." Virtue promised him a difficult path, with possible rewards and great sacrifices. Hercules opted for virtue. He didn't live an easy life, but he did live a meaningful one. He did hard work and made mistakes several times along the way. He bravely faced everything he had to do, until he managed to become a god. Like Hercules, the Stoics choose the path of virtue, and to act with virtue requires courage. In this video we will talk about courage, one of the 4 Stoic virtues. Before starting, we invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. This way you won't miss any new videos, and you'll get better and better at your Stoic walk. Don't forget to like the video, this way you will be contributing to the growth of our Stoic community. I imagine that you already know the story of the Battle of Thermopylae. The King Xerxes' Persian army with 300,000 soldiers threatens to destroy all of Greece. Given the lack of coordination of the Greek armies to defend themselves from the Persian invaders, the king of Sparta, Leonidas, decides to confront them, in order to buy some time for the Greeks to be able to organize themselves. Unable to lead the Spartan army into battle due to religious festivals, Leonidas sets out for the Thermopylae Gorge with 300 men from his personal guard. They knew it was suicide, 300 against 300,000, they had no chance of winning. Still, they knew it was the right thing to do, it was their duty as Spartans and Greeks. They were probably scared to death at the prospect of dying, but they didn't show it and didn't let it affect their judgment of what was right. That is courage. Facing a complicated situation that will push you to the limit, and despite this, you act correctly and face the problem, you don't run away from it. The 300 Spartans died at Thermopylae along with King Leonidas, but thanks to their sacrifice and courage, the Greeks were able to organize themselves in Salamis and the Plataea, where they defeated the Persians. Thanks to their courage, the 300 Spartans saved all of Greece. This story is a clear example of courage. Legend says that Leonidas descended from Hercules himself. Of course, both are clear examples of Stoic courage. The Stoics did not love risk or put themselves in risky situations on purpose. They did not avoid danger or unpleasant situations when they believed something more important was at risk. For the Stoics, courage is totally essential to possess the other 3 virtues: wisdom, justice, and temperance. You have to have courage to face your ego, courage to fight your biases and get closer to the truth, courage to recognize your mistakes even if they hurt, courage to face external opinions, courage to try to achieve your goals, and courage to admit everything you can change. To work on our courage, we must focus on these three things. 1. Work on our sense of responsibility. We have to meditate on the things that are under our responsibility and be aware of what that means. Being responsible for something means taking care of it and protecting it. It implies that when it doesn't go well, it's your fault. We cannot be brave if we do not become responsible. In the story of the Spartans, the 300 men who go to fight are aware that they are responsible for protecting and defending their city and the people who live in it. No one would be willing to face such a numerous enemy without understanding that this is their responsibility, that is what they have to do, whether they like it or not. Many people's lives depend on them facing fear. 2. Understand what is under our control and what is not. There are countless situations that scare us, that do not depend on us. It is important to differentiate what we can control and what we cannot control. Stoic courage starts from the following questions. If something that scares me is totally out of my control, what's the point of being afraid of something I can't control? If what others do is not under our control, why be afraid of others? If the external cannot harm me, only our own thoughts, why be afraid of what is external to us? The Stoics reflected on these questions so as not to feel afraid, for example, of poverty, not to feel afraid of public opinion, not to feel afraid of illness, or even death. A Stoic is not foolish, or he is brave for the sake of being brave. A Stoic is not afraid because he realizes that there is nothing to fear. 3. Practice courage. In the words of Seneca, there is no one less fortunate than the man who is forgotten by adversity, since he does not have the opportunity to test himself. Courage must be practiced daily, with small everyday actions. It is practiced by leaving your comfort zone, daring little by little to do things that you do not feel comfortable with. It is important to get used to being brave, since at some point we will all have to face a situation that requires courage to overcome it. Don't let that situation surprise you without being prepared. Train your courage daily. What is your opinion on this virtue? I await your response in the comments. I hope this video inspires you to be braver in situations that require it. Remember that courage means acting correctly despite fear or circumstances, so it must always be accompanied by prudence. It is not about doing things without thinking, but about doing things with meaning, taking risks for the greater good. If this video inspired you, share it with people who need to hear this message. See you in the next Wise Mind video.